Hello YouTubers, Grumpy Old Man here. Today I'm in the Lanark Highlands Library with the librarian, and we're going to start our new Beyond Books challenge for YouTube. And that's where instead of throwing a bucket of ice water on yourself, I want you to go to your local library, meet the librarians, meet the people that work there, and talk about what that library has to offer in your community. I traveled all the way to England and went to Chester in northern England to do some research on my family heritage there. Get there and told the library's closed. It's not open anymore. You got to go to the museum. Well, it's not the same. Museum is not an archive of history like a library is. But it's not just books in the library, which is why we're Beyond Books. So I'd like to introduce our librarian. Your name is?
David Rowe.
David Rowe is the librarian here in Lanark Highlands. So, David, yes, we have a lot of books. We're sitting in the juvenile section. I'm surrounded by some interesting stuff. I'm thinking, there's one there about, eating this and not that, about nutrition, geared to families and their children. What else is going on in the library here?
Through our public computers, we can get our patrons connected to the rest of the world and where they want to go. Surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, not everybody in Lanark Highlands has access to the internet from home.
Absolutely. I have rural internet, and if I'm lucky, I get 2.5 to 3 megabytes. I got a buddy in the city, he gets 100.
Yeah, so we get a lot more than that here, so if you need reasonable speed internet, come on in here. We have printing, we've got all sorts of things to do, and we have some staff who can give you a hand to a certain extent if you're having trouble finding your information. Or
well, just like trying to find a book. I have used the library computers to search for jobs and print out resumes and do that job search. You can use the computer for, we all know the things you could do. And it's going to really hurt the children, the young adults going to high school next year. They're being forced to take 2 online courses. And I'm hearing about 30% of children in Ontario, young adults, youth, don't even have access to the internet, let alone a computer at home to use it on. So you have a couple of computers here. I can see there's going to be a lineup for that use.
Probably.
That's right. That's right. And what other, well, we've already seen people who follow me regularly know I do leather workshops. You have a bunch of things on the counter for people to sign up. What activities have you got coming in the near future?
We're gearing up for the big summer Readers Club, sponsored by the Toronto Dominion Bank. And
cool.
Last year I think we had about 40 kids involved in it. And they read for fun or information or pleasure, and that they can win small prizes along the way, and we have programs associated with that. So we'll have someone like you come in and do a program on, say, making leather bookmarks. We'll have somebody else come in and...
cool, yes. I'm coming back to do, I'm making candles.
Okay.
Beeswax candles, and I'll be talking about bees and the and the environment and how they feed us. So the Toronto Dominion Bank is sponsored. Is that a provincial thing or a national thing?
I think it's national, actually.
Cool.
And they've been doing this for quite a few years now.
That's great, considering we don't have a bank branch in the village. To have a bank nationally support the library in the village, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and they do it for all the public libraries across the country.
That's great. Now, I was one of those who took advantage of the income tax workshops.
Yeah, we had that in March and April. It sort of got off to a slow start, but then it really picked up towards the end, and I think we had over 20 people to the sessions in April.
Well, there was 4 in my household that came because, 3 of them heard that I was doing it, and they all came and took advantage of it. I had promoted it on the Valley Heritage Radio out of Redford, that this service was being offered, and it was also being done at the health center. So for a small village, I'm hoping anybody who required that service took advantage of it.
A couple of people asked for it a little bit after it finished, but so we gave them the names and addresses of the ladies who provided it, to see if they could help one more person.
Absolutely. Years ago, I didn't know it was being offered here. I took advantage of through the library in Perth, and then I found out it was happening here because they told me down there they also did it up here.
Yeah.
So I waited for the information to come out, and that's great. So here within the facility, we have like the 5G Wi-Fi, which helps. I used it when I came in. I was finishing uploading my last video. Realized I'd left the house before the last 3% had been uploaded. It took an hour at home. It took 3 minutes here. And thank you for that service. And that's where does the money come to operate this facility?
Mostly from the municipal taxpayers.
Okay.
There's a
cool.
very small amount of money comes from the province, which has not increased since 1996.
And I think they just cut that off in half now.
No, that's something different.
Oh,
But,
okay.
The operating grant, we get, I think, $13,000 a year, and I think we've been getting that ever since 1996. And under the Liberals, we've finally convinced them to put some more money into libraries, and they had it in their last budget, which of course went nowhere with the election. And
The Conservatives are in, and okay, my understanding was that they were cutting your budget by 50%. I didn't know the details.
No.
Are you able to educate us on that?
Okay, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture, and Recreation oversees two organizations that provide services at the library: the Southern Ontario Library Service and the Ontario Library Service North,
Okay.
which
We're a part of?
we're a part of SOLS.
Okay.
Southern Ontario Library
Oh,
Service.
okay.
So what they do is they provide training opportunities. They provide conferences and where we can meet and discuss things with our fellow librarians. They also work on they have consultants who can come and help libraries with problems or projects or whatever, just to get some more professional help, especially for the smaller libraries that, often, that they're, there are a lot of tiny little libraries out there with, maybe open 1 day a week or 2 afternoons a week, something like that, with one person trying to do everything. So there's a lot of tiny libraries out there that use the Southern Ontario Library Service and OLS North. Now, what the government did was they these guys work on a fairly stringent budget, right? I think the budget for the Southern Ontario Library Service is about $3 million a year.
Okay.
Compared that to how much the government spent on getting rid of the head of Ontario Hydro, which is over 700 and something million.
Yeah, it was $300,000 or something. I don't know the exact on
Anyway.
hats for hunters instead of.
Yeah.
But educating your community.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not going to. We could go all day about that.
Yeah, I mean, every government has its priorities.
Absolutely.
And we won't go.
I will later. So
Okay.
if any of you don't understand, send me a message, and if I can't answer it, I'll get you the answer for it.
So so one of the more important things that the library services do is they have a courier service.
That's the
Couple of
interlibrary.
vans. Interlibrary loan. So
That's
if,
right.
if someone walks in here and says, "Have you got this book?" and we say, "No, but we can try and get it for you from another library." So we go on to the there's like a common
There's a
database
network.
where all of
That's
our,
right.
all of our catalogs are accessible, and we go in, we find out that say
Perth
that-
might have exactly what
Yeah,
you need,
yeah.
and the next time the truck's coming up, that book will come up
Yep,
for you.
Yeah. So we had been getting one visit a week from the courier. Now, years back when I started in public libraries in Ontario, I was in Aurelia, and we used to get a courier every day, and then it got cut back and cut back. So I think it's probably now down to 2 days a week. But
Which is a luxury, but still
But-
in a community that
yeah,
needs it. Yeah.
So basically, the 50%, or I think the courier cost about 45% of the sold budget for gas and trucks and
Yes,
and
it's not
drivers
cheap.
and that.
Driving around is hard on a vehicle too.
So the government cut the Soul's operating budget by 50%. So that you have
You got to find,
yeah. So
services get
interlibrary
cut.
owned services. So maybe we'll do it by mail. Maybe we'll just not do it at all if it takes too much trouble.
And speaking of mail,
The
using
other
email,
thing-
there's a lot of stuff people can access
Sure.
the information from libraries online now.
Yes, you
isn't it?
can. There's a product called Overdrive.
Overdrive, okay.
Which a lot of or I think almost all the libraries subscribe to through the Southern Ontario Library Service, because another thing they do is they get consortia pricing for a large number of products.
Okay.
Years back, they had a deal with Dell Computers,
Okay.
and you can get. They were getting such a great price on the computers in Aurelia that our city's IT manager keeps saying, "You sure we can't get some too?"
Can you
Can we get
sell
those
them out the
prices?
back door? Yeah, absolutely.
So
Now, as a patron of the library, I used large print books, and now I have an e-book thing. Do we have that through the library as well
Yep,
that we
yeah.
can access?
yeah, Overdrive. You can find ebooks on there and audiobooks, and download them to your computer or your
Device, your
device.
phone,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
kid. Right.
yeah, whatever device you want to, and
So to
And that's
access
free,
it,
yeah.
that you come in and get a membership through the
Yeah.
library.
yeah, you have your library card, and your library card number is your password to get
Just to
in there.
let you into the system.
Yeah, and
That's,
then you can.
to be honest, that's not something I've taken advantage of. I've heard about it,
Yeah.
but I will spend more time looking
Yeah.
at it. Cool.
But that opens up a huge realm of titles and subjects.
Absolutely. Get into that e-learning and do it at your home with your own. If you have,
If you can get it. that's
if
what
you've
you-
got internet, that will allow you. Absolutely. But you can come into the library with your device and download
Yeah.
whatever you need
Yeah.
and take it home with you, just like you come in to pick up a book.
Yep.
You know, and it doesn't take long. You can stop in on your way through for this library. What are the hours of operation?
We're closed Sundays and Mondays. Tuesdays are our longest day, from 10 until 9 at night. Then Wednesday and Thursday are Wednesdays 10 till 6. Thursday and Friday are 12 till 6, and Saturdays 10 till 3.
So if somebody's working a 9 to 5 job, there are evenings and
Yeah,
and Saturdays that they can take advantage of that as well. And that's great to know. Now, throughout the summer, you have a bunch of workshops coming up, and I understand that there is a substantial change in the administration here at the library. Would you like to talk about that, or we keep that out? That's
No, I'm here until probably the end of next week.
and he's running away.
Yep.
Really. And can you tell us where you're going?
Stephenville, Newfoundland.
Okay, so Google that, pull it up on your map app, Stephenville, Newfoundland, and see how far away from Lanark, Highlands it is. And while you're at it, see how far away Lanark, Highlands is from any major metropolitan center like Ottawa, Toronto, who thinks they're the center of the universe.
Oh, that's close to here.
It's
Comparatively
just down
speaking.
the road.
Yeah.
The rest of the country is just down the road because you can get to Highway 7 and from there everywhere else in the southern part of the country. But now with the internet superhighway. I remember being told that lie. At least if you live rurally in Lanark Highlands and you don't have decent internet, you're probably not watching this then. You can come into the library, and that's one of the services you can take advantage of is the internet, the speeds. You've got a 5G system running here, and it's
Wi-Fi. People can bring in their laptops and other devices to use.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you very much for your time.
Okay,
And for those of you who are following this, my subscribers, I challenge you to do the exact same thing. Go to your local library and interview the librarian or any of the staff and
get a library card.
Absolutely. I've got one. I'm a card-carrying member, and hope you all do the same. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, you're welcome.